We got our line lock, our proportioning valve, and our master cylinder in. We got our line going to the rear, line going to the driver's side, line going to the passenger side. And the line's to the master cylinder. We still got to put the rod in there. I think I got to drill a bigger hole here to fill it up. It's not beautiful. I could have used that hole for this clamp. But I did what I did just to be quick, and I don't know what goes there. There were clamps for factory brake lines, 2 of them. I don't know if that's those or what. This is how I ran it. We got to stick this motor brace down here. There's a motor brace, goes from here over to this side. It's an aftermarket brace I got from a buddy. Well, it was Mike's brace. And then I got to put the motor on the transmission, put the torque converter bolts in, the starter on. It's ready to set down in here, I think. Hopefully this week the engine is going in. So this week's project in the morning before work is to clean and paint the headers for the Falcon. They were on the car when I got it. They don't look very rusty, so we're going to give them a little cleaning. Give them a little primer and some paint. See what we can do with them. We're going to use VHT primer and VHT flat blue paint. And that'll be it for the little headers. We're just going to use a drill and a wire brush, wipe them down, shoot some paint on them. It'll last the whole 20 minutes when I'm breaking in the cam. It'll look professional. After that, they'll just be rust. But it'll look good for that brief minute. This is the passenger side header. That's the driver's side after we gave it a quick wire wheel job. So now, we're going to give the passenger side a wire wheel job. And then we're going to start getting ready for work. Get them primered up. We got to wipe them down with something. We'll see what we have laying around here. But that's where we are. Hopefully by the weekend we have the engine sitting down in this thing. Won't run, but it'll be in it. Well, there they are, wire wheeled and wiped down. We're shaking the primer. They're not going to look great. They're probably going to look like ass, but it is what it is. It'll be glorious for 30 seconds. And I know I should send them out and have them coated, or I should get some stainless steel ones. I should definitely invest more in the headers than the car's worth. That's becoming the issue with cars lately. You know, everything's got to have a twin turbo, $1 million LS motor in it. Nobody wants a real car anymore. Well, this is a budget build of a real car. It'll have a carburetor, no overdrive, a real car. Well, this side is primered. We'll flip them over when we come home from work and primer the other side. I should have brought the stuff to hang them home from the garage, but I forgot. Not too bad. Worked out okay. We're going to let that dry. When we come home today, we'll primer the other side, and then tomorrow we'll paint them. Alright, so it's Wednesday. We got the shop cleaned up a little bit. Not a whole lot. But we're back to work here. We got our brake lines. We're going to touch up a little bit of paint. Put that motor brace in. Start getting that baby ready to drop into this big hole. Trust me, when I crawl my fat ass in there, it ain't very big, but it'll set in there. Let's get started. Alright, that little engine cross member brace does not fit the passenger side due to the corner of the bracket the control arm bolts to. It rubs a little over there. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a big BFH, this bad boy right here, and try to massage that corner just a hair. Wham, wham, wham. And it should be good, I hope. Alright, with some hammering and some grinding, that engine cross brace is in there, bolted in. Now we're going to put them little steel C's in there. And then we'll be ready to start getting the motor and transmission all ready to go. So now I think I'm going to bolt these pieces through there first before I put them, and then the motor will set right on top of there, I hope. I could be doing this backwards. Not 100% sure, but that's how I'm going to try it, I believe. I did get new motor mounts and a new training mount, but I think that's how we're going to try it. So we're going to try to bolt both of these pieces of steel in there, so that then all we got to do is bolt it to the motor. The motor mounts will come down and sit right there, but it may be better off going this way. We're going to have to evaluate that and see what we want to do. Well, these are the motor mounts that Summit sold us. This is the mount that was in the car. Looks very different. Hopefully, it's the same. And these are ARP motor mount bolts. Good bolts, cheap mounts. Nothing could go wrong here. Alright, we got our motor mounts on. We got our lift plate on. We're going to lift it up. Make sure those flywheel bolts are Loctited on. Then we're going to put the transmission on. See what we can come up with. Might throw the converter bolts in it also, just while we have it out, and the starter. Alright, so we got our transmission lined up. Torque converters in. Everything's lined up and we're slowly tightening up the bolts. I always just tighten them up with a wrench till I get the gap closed on all of them. Make sure the converter will spin and I'm ready to go. And I just try to pull them in evenly till I get this gap completely closed. And you'll know if you got it right or if you don't. It kind of closes itself nice and smooth. And evenly all on its own. Gap's looking good. So that tells me it's all going smooth. You reach your hand in there through the starter hole. Give that torque converter a little wiggle. So far, so good. Once I get them all snugged up by hand, then I'll go through with a ratchet and make sure they're good. But I'm not sure these bolts are going to work. That one might have bottomed out already. Oh, no, it didn't. It just snugged up. Everything is going nice and smooth. Just make sure these two go. that one went good. And that one's pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to check and see if we can spin the converter a little and the flywheel, and then we can tighten these all down good and tight. Flywheel turns. It's a little tricky getting something up in there to see if everything turns, but I believe it is. Yep, converter's turning. So now we're going to get it to turn back down to line up the hole. It moved. It's slowly moving. There we go. Everything's moving like it should. So, should be no problem there. Now we're going to get a ratchet and make sure we can flatten out those lock washers. Everything's good and tight. Well, it's Saturday morning. Afternoon now, I think. I don't know. We're back here working on the Falcon. We have to make a transmission mount. So this is a transmission aftermarket for a Falcon. This was in Mike's comment when he had a TKX in it, I think, or a TK, I don't know. It was a manual. We need to extend it out roughly that much to this line. So that's what we're going to work on now. Getting this all ground up and cleaned up so we can extend that out and make it work. So I'm going to start grinding and we'll see what happens. So this is where we are now. We ground that. We found this piece of steel. Instead of cutting a hole out of this big piece, we're going to use this. This is part of a slider link, I think, off a 9-inch I bought off a fella. But that'll fit right there. And that'll extend us out where we need to be. And then we'll weld it, gusset it, and all that good stuff. So, as of right now, we're going to put weld here. Flip it over. Fill in this hole, and put weld along there. And then we'll fill in this hole, that hole, and a hole. And then we'll probably gusset it down the sides. And then we'll drill our 2 new transmission holes, and we should have it. And then we'll paint it and put it in. Hopefully this will work and get us a transmission mount. We welded our plate on. We are no professional welder, but it'll work. We'll grind it down a little. Make sure it's flat where we need it flat. After it cools off, I think we're going to put a gusset right down the side on both sides. So that's what we're going to make next, is a piece to go from here to there. Alright, this is our fancy transmission mount we made. It's not pretty, but it'll get the job done, I hope. We're going to go into there and see if this bad boy will fit. Motor's in. Motor mounts are in. Headers are on. Everything appears to be fitting okay. We got to get an air cleaner, figure out what we're going to do with that, but that's something I had laying around. We have our homemade repaired transmission mount in there. Can't see it too good. see if we can shed some light on the subject. There it is. Transmission's in, headers are in. We gotta fix up the brake line over there, start running fuel lines and battery lines, but it's coming. Oh, we gotta run a vacuum hose too. Jesus. Figure out where we're gonna get that on the back of that engine. Steering's close, but it's not touching. And we have to fix the tie rods and hook up the brake lines, but it'll work. So far, so good. So this little engine is a 331 cubic inch. It's got a 2800 stall C4 shift kit, 750 carburetor. We got to change the fuel rail around so it comes out in the front. Hook up our throttle linkage and all that stuff. But it's coming. We're making progress every day. So today wasn't such a great day at the shop for Saturday. Let's see. We did U-joints in a Dodge truck. We worked on a dump truck. And then we made a transmission mount for the Falcon. So we got stuff done, but just not as much as we wanted. We're going to use our golf cart trailer. Excuse me. We're going to use the golf cart trailer behind the Falcon for a drag and drive. I was going to look for a trailer, but I think that one will work. It's pretty small. It's like 5x6 or 5x7, I think. If not, we'll get one. I bought one of those plastic car toppers to put on it to keep stuff dry. Bought a little mini bike to take with us. I've seen a lot of guys bring electric scooters. I'm not an electric guy. I don't need to jump a fad. I don't need an EV and all that crap. I like good old combustion engines. I don't want to bring the fancy mini bike, so I bought this little cheap mini bike we're going to throw together so we can bring a little mini bike to get around. Bring some chairs. I'm collecting stuff for the trailer and extra parts. But I think it'll be okay. I think we got it. We got a hitch a friend gave us for the Falcon. We got to get that on. We're getting things done every day. So this is going to be our mini bike to take on drag and drive. It does run. Needs a chain. Needs some framework. And it needs the exhaust plate. That's never going to work, but we can do that. So it'll work. This little mini bike was a marketplace $100 find. We'll doll it up and we'll put it on the back of the trailer when we go to these drag and drive, the Midwest drags, with our little Falcon, and it'll be okay. I think it'll look pretty slick. Remember, like and subscribe Side Money Garage.